I'm afraid we need to talk about some crime. This morning there's been an increase in kidnapping cases around the country. The police minister has come out and said that this form of crime is being carried out by a particular group of people. He says some of the suspects arrested recently have been linked to 56 other kidnappings. Let's bring in anti-crime activist, it's Yusuf Abramjee, also the host of Crime Watch here on ENC. Yusuf, morning to you. And I was mentioning this at the top of the show. The trend, which you'll give more details on, I'm sure, is no longer just the kidnapping of business people, rich business people and their families, but now we're hearing students being kidnapped as well. It almost doesn't make any sense.
Good morning, Gareth. Indeed, we are seeing these kidnapping cases on the increase. In fact, there are thousands and thousands of cases that have been reported. And clearly, we are dealing here with organized crime. There are copycat gangs on the prowl. They're going for a quick buck. And historically, we've seen a number of business people of Indian origin, Pakistani origin, Somalians being kidnapped for large sums of ransom. That is still continuing, by the way. But we are seeing the smaller gangs on the prowl. They're going for the quick buck. And the one gang that was arrested just last week after a police operation is linked to at least 50 cases of kidnappings. And they were targeting people on a dating app. And at least 7 arrests were made. So most certainly, we are seeing an increase in these kidnappings.
So what do we as citizens need to actually look out for? What are the areas? Like, how does someone find themselves in a situation where you could become victim to kidnapping? Do you need to stay out of dark areas? Don't drive around late at night? Always travel with someone? How does someone get themselves in a situation like this?
Well, Gareth, the bigger gangs that are on the prowl, they do their surveillance, they do their homework, they target specific people. And they know exactly who they want and what they want. The smaller gangs that are now at work, they're going for anyone and everyone. Whether you're a student, whether you're male, whether you're female, doesn't really matter. And remember, during a hijacking these days, they also take you very often hostage and they hold you for a number of hours while they try to empty your bank account. Many of the victims are released in the early hours of the morning because they wait for the daily limit to set in after midnight. And then they take your ATM pins and they take your apps and they try to empty whatever they can. These smaller gangs really are on the prowl, and that is of concern. In fact, General Edias Mawela, Gauteng's police commissioner, said the other day that they've had cases where people have been kidnapped for as little as 100 rand. And that is a worry. You can take all the precautions. You know, we often say, be alert, know your surroundings, know where you're going to. Those basic principles still are in place. Don't talk to strangers, don't engage them, call out for help wherever you can. That still has to happen. And I think the anti-kidnapping task team of the police have made some great inroads. A number of arrests have been made. In fact, in the Northwest, a number of kidnappers were also arrested. But the worry is that there are more and more gangs on the prowl, and they really, that is the cause of concern, Gareth.
Of course it is. Is there certain areas in the country, Yusuf, that are more prone to seeing these, let's call them the smaller kidnappings? It's not to belittle the severity of it, but the smaller kidnappings of students. Are there particular areas in the country?
Gauteng definitely is a hotspot. We know that incidents in the Eastern Cape, where business people are being targeted, that is going up. And that community just a week or two ago again took to the streets and they protested at the high levels of kidnapping and extortion. We know that in Limpopo, in the Thohoyandou area, business people, especially those of Indian origin, are being targeted. There have been virtually dozens of incidents. But nationally, if one looks at the broader picture, and if you look at the crime stats, the Gauteng area, Pretoria specifically, Johannesburg, the greater Gauteng area, that remains an area of concern. We've had incidents in the other provinces, but not the numbers that we are seeing in Gauteng and not the numbers that we are seeing in the Eastern Cape. We know, for example, in the Western Cape, specifically the Cape Town area, there were historically a number of kidnappings, and now we are seeing some more smaller ones. But again, nationally speaking, Gauteng is a problem area.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's just one of those with the economic hub being up here in this province. I suppose it's where these syndicates are operating from. They think everyone has money. So you've told us how to hopefully keep an eye out and avoid a situation. But if the terrible situation were to arise, Yusuf, where you are taken, even as a student, as you say, for 100 rand, maybe a few R100, what are you supposed to do in a situation like that? Because we're watching some of the videos, you see some people trying to fight back. What do you advise someone who should never be in this situation but might find themselves being kidnapped? What do we do?
The golden rule is your life is more important, Garrett. Do not fight back. Do not resist. We've had a few incidents where these gangs, and they're highly dangerous, the bigger ones especially, they open fire, and we had 1 or 2 victims, like in Cape Town a while ago. A businessman was shot dead resisting. Try to cooperate, remain calm. They will ask you for your family members' details, ask you for phone numbers. Give them all the phone numbers. As far as the family members and the loved ones are concerned, immediately report it to the police. These gangs will tell you, do not contact the police, we'll do X and Y to your loved ones, but quietly go to the police, report it. The police have a team of hostage negotiators. Some of them are highly skilled. They will assist wherever they can. They will walk you through every step of the way to say what you should do, what should be paid, what should not be paid, and they will then assist the victims. The kidnapping task team is very often brought in, and here we have highly skilled officers from various police units. And if you just cooperate with them, work with them, hopefully we'll see more of these criminals arrested and brought behind bars.
All right, Yusuf Abramjee, thank you very much. Perhaps next time we talk about these kidnapping syndicates, I think everyone will know you as well from Crime Watch and that anti-crime activism. Perhaps there's ways you can get hold of Crime Watch as well. If you witness something like this, yes, let the police know, but perhaps also contact those who can make contact with high-ranking officials in our country. 20 minutes after 7, so it's very worrying, isn't it, when you start seeing that even students these days being kidnapped for as little as R100. So the warning is just be incredibly careful wherever you are, even if it's a regular shopping center that you go to, especially drawing money from ATMs. Please, please be very, very careful.